So we have a window click listener component here that will show up when I click on this button. Now when I click on the window, if I click anywhere in the DOM, the event listener has a tracker which will keep track of how many click events have happened, and it increments the value. So at first glance, it looks like it's working perfectly fine. But if you take a look at the code, there is a console log statement that will also run when we click. And if you look at the logs here, I've clicked only 7 times, but the log has run 96 times. So in reality, not only the log, the entire handler function has run 96 times, and it keeps increasing. So the more I click, the gap widens. So why is this happening? So if you take a look at the code, the window click listener component, it adds an event listener during the use effect. So it registers an event listener on mount, and when each time the state or props changes. So in our case, the handler is updating the state. So each time the state has changed, it adds a new event listener to window. So that is why the more I click, the more the number of event listeners get incremented. So it runs more than it needs, and eventually at some point, the page will be unable to handle the number of event listeners, and the page will crash. So to prevent that, useEffect also has a way of cleaning up. Uh, it also has a cleanup phase which it will run before running a new effect. So the way it works is useEffect's first argument is a function. The second argument is the dependencies array, right? But there is also another part to useEffect, which is it can return a function. So the first argument can return another function, and this part will run whenever the dependency changes or whenever the use effect has to run. So whenever the effect has to run again, it will first run the cleanup for the last effect and then run the new use effect. Right? So here what we can do is I could say window dot remove event listener click handler. So what this will do is it will the first time when the component mounts, it is going to run this event listener and take this function and keep a track of it. And the next time the click count, when I click on the window and this gets updated, useEffect tries to run again. But before it gets to running this function, it already has this part from the last effect. It runs that, and then it runs this, and then stores the next value again to clean up when the click event happens once again. So let us see it in action. So I'm going to mount the component. Now the number of clicks are in sync.